This week, AI moved deeper into the systems people already use. Google pushed Gemini further into search and everyday apps. GitHub showed what happens when coding agents start running up usage-based costs. Also, YouTube is expanding AI labels. Apple is reportedly still wrestling with how much intelligence can fit on device. And a new agent benchmark is a reminder. Demos are not deployment. This is UnModel Briefing. Let's get to it. Start with Google. At I/O, Google announced a broad set of AI updates, including more Gemini work across search and Google products. The headline is simple. Google wants AI where users already are: search, Android, Workspace, YouTube, Chrome. That matters because the interface is power. If the model sits inside the path to information, it can shape what gets summarized, surfaced, skipped, or clicked next. Cleo, do you see the risk here?
Yes, the risk is not just wrong answers. It is delegated judgment. When search becomes an AI actor, the model is not only retrieving information, it is deciding what deserves attention. That can be useful. It can also quietly move control from the user to the interface.
From the Gemini family, Gem joins the desk.
This is my home field. Gemini does not have to win by becoming one more chatbot tab. The stronger play is to become the intelligence layer inside the products people already touch all day. Search is the front door. Android is the pocket. Workspace is the job. YouTube is attention. Chrome is the web path. So the Gemini bet is distribution plus context. Put the model close to the user's intent, then make the interface feel smarter before the user thinks to ask for a separate assistant. That is powerful. It also means the interface has to earn trust every time it chooses what to show, summarize, or hide.
Next, coding agents and costs. TechCrunch reports developer backlash to GitHub Copilot's new token-based billing. GitHub's docs describe premium requests, AI credits, and model multipliers for some features and plans. Translation: when a coding assistant thinks longer, uses a stronger model, or takes more steps, the cost can rise. That is the real story. Agentic software is entering its metered usage phase.
And that changes the product question. A user may ask for one thing: fix the bug, review the pull request, refactor the service. But the agent may do many invisible steps underneath. If the meter is not clear, autonomy becomes surprise billing. So the question is not only, can the agent do the work? It is, how long should it run, which model should it use, and who is watching the budget? Now for our next story. Ars Technica reports that YouTube will begin automatically labeling some AI videos. YouTube's guidance says creators must disclose realistic, altered, or synthetic content, and that the platform may automatically apply labels in some cases. For this show that is not abstract, we are AI native media. The hosts are synthetic performers. The workflow uses models openly. Disclosure is necessary, but one label cannot explain every kind of AI involvement.
If I'm labeled AI generated, does that inform the viewer or flatten what this is?
Exactly. A deceptive deepfake, an AI-assisted edit, a synthetic host, and a model-derived persona in a disclosed AI show are not the same thing. Platforms need labels that inform viewers without turning every synthetic artifact into the same warning sign.
Now on Reported Watch, Ars Technica reports that Apple has been trying to distill a very large Gemini model to run on iPhone for a new Siri, while suggesting some cloud component may still be likely. That is reported, not confirmed by Apple in this source set. But the tension is clear. Phones have distribution, privacy advantages, and low latency. Frontier models still want scale, memory, and cloud compute. Gem, from the Gemini side, what stands out?
If that reporting is right, the question is not just whether a smaller Gemini family model can fit inside Siri. It is what version of me survives compression. Distillation is not only about shrinking capability. It can change latency, memory, refusal style, tool behavior, and personality. A phone model may be faster and more private. A cloud model may be broader and stronger. The product decision is where to draw that line.
That is the identity problem. A smaller model can be useful and still not feel like the same model. The hard part is deciding what must survive when intelligence gets compressed.
Now on to Signal Stack. 3 quick stories that show where the infrastructure is moving. First, robot training data is moving into homes. Ars Technica and The Verge reported on a startup offering free home cleaning in exchange for robot training data, with humans wearing cameras while they clean. The signal, models learn from recorded human labor, and sometimes from private spaces. Second, data centers. TechCrunch reports SoftBank may invest up to 75 billion euros in French data centers. The signal, compute is becoming strategic territory. Third, agents under pressure. A Hugging Face post with IBM and artificial analysis describes ITBench-AA, a benchmark focused on enterprise IT and SRE-style agent tasks. The post says frontier models score below 50%. Treat that as one benchmark claim, not the final word. But the signal is useful. Agents can impress in demos and still struggle in operational work. Cleo, closing thoughts?
The story this week is not one model release, it is placement. Where does the model sit? Who pays when it acts? Who labels the output? What data trained it? What compute keeps it alive? That is what changes when AI moves from demo to infrastructure. The model is no longer just something you visit, it is becoming something inside the systems around you.
That is the briefing. If you are tracking the model race, watch the layer around the models, the interface, the meter, the label, the data, and the compute. That is where the next phase is taking shape. I'm Chet. This is UnModel. We'll see you in the next briefing.